Hey traders, Michael or Mini Frost here. You're here for another episode of Common Sense Market Analysis. Today is Thursday, August 7th, 2025. You're looking at a daily chart of the SPY or spiders, which is the proxy for the S&P 500. What do we have on the docket today? Well, guess what? We pretty much had a nothing day, down 0.08%. She's down 50 cents on the day, so pretty much flat. But that's not to say we did reach some pretty key important levels. This morning we had a gap higher by about 30 S&P handles, give or take. And then where'd she crap them down to? Right at the 20-period moving average. Normal garden variety behavior. The 20-period moving average is magnetic. This is home base. Markets don't like to be too extended from home base. And as you can see, for a while, we were extended from home base. And now, after we had this big gap and crap situation, she's just been hovering over the 20-period moving average, continuing to retest it. That's normal behavior, but we'll just take things at face value. This is choppy August. We're just going back and forth. As you can see, this day was down 1.64%. Next day was up. Next day down, up, down. Will tomorrow follow suit and be an up day? See if she can continue the chain? We'll see about that. Could definitely get a floater Friday, but we'll have to wait and see. The next major target on the upside is this big time breakdown candle high. Couldn't get there today, doesn't mean she can't get there tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. A little intermission break. Let's take a look at the LazySwingTrader Automagical Algo system. Today we had a profit target alert for TXN, Texas Instruments Incorporated. Had a nice gap higher today, reaching our first profit target. Members were alerted, and we came out with a nice 4.3% gain. Still holding trailers, this is now a risk-free, emotionless trade. Not to mention, we had some LazySwingTrader members send me an email taking this exact TXN trade, and they already paid for the annual subscription. A little after-hours boost should have just paid for my LST license for the entire year. LST TXN trade, 1050 at the close. Overall, that move after hours just added another 1200. Scott got a pretty nice chunk of change off of TXN, and any trade further on is just purely profit. What about Len? How you doing? Nice little trade here, 1740 risk on 2 shares, out a few days later, 2840 in profit. How do you like them apples? First of all, it's how do you like them apples, and I'll tell you what, I like them apples. Already paid for the annual plan. How you doing, Len? Guys, this is the last chance to get in on this exclusive deal for the LazySwingTrader. This is the first promotion that we've ever run for the LazySwingTrader, and it ends tomorrow. You got a discount for both the quarterly and the annual, and if you purchase the annual plan, you also get the magic calculator free for an entire year. That's almost $1,500 in value in itself. That also comes with a few exclusive bonus packages on how to use the magic calculator, some rare training videos from David, an ultimate PDF guide on how to use the calculator. It's got everything that you need to be a successful trader and use that as an extra tool, along with the LazySwingTrader Automagical Algo system. This is the last call. It ends tomorrow night. So if you haven't taken action yet, it's time to get on your horses. We have an 87% win rate this year. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see a list of our closed swing trades. And as you can see, looks like Christmas, but just with a lot more green. The LazySwingTrader Automagical Algo system. Let's go ahead and take a look at inside the numbers, starting with the 0 dark 30 stuff. We had a nice gap higher to start the morning, but let's start with the morning pivot coming in at 636.20. Right at the vertical line is today's activity. Pivot is in green, and as you can see, she toyed with the pivot for pretty much the first 30 minutes of the day, closing candles above and closing candles below. Some traders did take a stab at it early in the morning, just toying around. I bought the pivot on this retest, hit it right on the dot, and provided a base hit. That was a trader's choice on the board. We went over that this morning. But getting below the pivot, she's bearish, and the door starts to open to what? Going back to inside the number notes, the first support zone on the board, 634.85 down to a spike of 634.15. It's a mini zone of support on the board. She did spike through that zone. We had other levels down below, such as the gap from yesterday. We had a number at 632.80 down to a spike of 632.05. 632.05 was the important number from yesterday. Here was the second zone of support, 632.85 down to a spike of 632.05. As you could see, 632.85, she came up a few pennies short right at this candle right here. And we went over that in the notes. So we were either looking for a spike of the number or wait for them to get down to 632.05, which is exactly what she did. Spiked it by a touch, provided the base hit. And where did she find resistance? Right at the 632.85. Funny how that works. As you can see, we started to get below right here, started using this support zone as resistance on the way back up. So closing candles below, she's bearish, and that opens the door to the next set of numbers. Well, if she continues to drop them, the next destination on the board is towards 630.90. And keep in mind that this is all within the 0 dark 30 stuff. This is all before the market even opens. If we scroll up, we can see all the intraday activity, but looking at the wrap up for the day, you can see we mentioned that 630.90 number again. And if this is a take 'em out behind the woodshed day, the next destination is at 629. So I put both of these numbers on the board. Let's go ahead and remove those. That was the previous support zone. And as we could see, 630.90 came up short the first time, looking for a spike of the number the second time around. She did exactly that, found support off of it, and ripped it right back in the other direction for a bare minimum base hit. She gave you about a double. We'll call it a stand-up double. And then guess what? She got down below it, started to use this number as resistance on the way back up. Although that this was initially a support zone, a support number, if she gets below it, she can use it as resistance on the way back up. That's very important to know. She did exactly that. And then where'd she almost run a test to? 629. Nice fat round number. She made a low of 629.11, came up 11 cents short, and ripped it back in the other direction. So it was a little bit unfortunate that we didn't quite make it to 629. We had to front run the number a little bit, but that's not to say we didn't have traders front running that number. We had Ken send me an email after the close, purchased ES at support number 3. That was the 629 number we just talked about. That number falls in line with 6335 in the ES and out at close at 6370. That's a lot of freaking points, which equals a nice freaking trade. Thank you for the email, Ken, and well done. How you doing? What about stocks on the move? Well, we had 3 stocks on the move. 2 of them hit entry targets. 1 of them was a jump target, getting below their entry price at the open. But we had ABNB and Lilly. Going to be transparent with you guys. Eli Lilly did not work out the way that we intended it to. She blew past the 2 entry numbers and then was pretty much hovering over the stop. The stop is technically a 3rd number, and she was just hovering over it. Not really going to go into it, but going to be transparent with you guys regardless of the situation. We did take a loss on that, but ABNB was a different story. Entry number 1, 119.72. Let's go take a look. So here's ABNB on a 5-minute chart. We had 1 entry for this. We normally have 2 entries for stocks on the move, but sometimes we got 1, and it turns out that 1 is enough. She hit it, she spiked it, and then ripped it back in the other direction for a nice, decent trade. Stocks on the move, inside the numbers, how you doing? Pause the video, read the notes, and go back to the chart to double check the work. It's all in here, everything that you need to be a successful trader. Whether you're trading the S&P, Qs, crude oil, gold, stocks, it doesn't matter. There's an opportunity around the corner for everybody. If you're struggling to find the numbers each and every day, come visit Inside the Numbers and the live room, and we'll help you out. What about Camp IWM? She's down 0.33%. She had a nice gap higher today, opening above the 20-period moving average, couldn't sustain price above it, and then came right back down. Where to? The trend line that we drew yesterday. She spiked it by a few cents, pretty much right on the dot, but the market certainly knows about that trend line. There's no accidents or coincidences that she stopped at that trend line and found support. So right now she's below the 20-period moving average, my number 1 favorite market leading indicator. As long as she's staying above this trend line, that is the bull case scenario, and she could 100% go back to retest the 20-period moving average and or higher, following in suit with the S&P, as she is above all the moving averages right now. What about the folks at the transportation department? She's down 1%. She opened above the 200-period moving average. Yesterday we touched it, bounced off of it by a little bit. Today, gapped above it, couldn't sustain price above. She tried to get going, but ultimately came back down. Where to? That important number we talked about yesterday at 15,400, give or take. That number is important. as we begin to start closing candles below, that will open the door down to these lows right here, and possibly even this breakup candle low that coincides with the last line of defense, the 100 period moving average. But we are the umpires with an unbiased viewpoint. She can go back down to retest near the vicinity of these lows, possibly even as spike the low and rip it back up. And then who's not to say she can't go back to retest the 200 period moving average and higher. The 20 period moving average is right above it. You got this big breakdown candle high, and then you have one right above it. So she's laying upon a very important number right now. Closing candles above this number or below will give us some more puzzle piece information. What about the Q people? Well, she had a little different day today. She's up 0.34%. She took care of the gap from yesterday, spiked it by a touch, almost got to the 20 period moving average, couldn't quite get there, and then she bounced away. But then also look at it from the upside. She almost went for a test of this big time breakdown candle high, which is the all-time high. She got to around 573.32. The actual number is 574.63. Couldn't quite get there. Doesn't mean she can't get there tomorrow. Looking at both sides of the tape, she can go run a test of this number, maybe spike the high and rip it back down, or if we get a floater Friday, she can just keep on going. And to flip the switch, we have the 20 period moving average. We are in a choppy market right now. We have a common theme of toying with the 20 period moving average across multiple markets. So who's not to say she can't go back down for another test? This also falls in line with the most recent breakup candle low. That's what we got for the Q people. What about XLF? Well, she had a pretty decent down day today. She's down 1.12%. She almost ran a test of this number, the gap right here, at 52.37. That is unfinished business. She couldn't quite get there. That falls in line right at the 20 period moving average. She went down to spike the 50 period moving average, and now she looks like she's on her way down to the other side of unfinished business at 50.81. That's this gap right here. And like we've been saying for the last few days, she's kind of smack in the middle of some very key important levels. Unfinished business up above and unfinished business down below. We also have two large moving averages, the 100 and the 200 period below this number. But again, just to clear up some of the noise from the daily chart, we still are above all the moving averages. So you know what they say, the trend is your friend until she throws your shit out the window, until something changes. Right underneath that 50.80 number down below, you have this big time breakup candle low that coincides with the 20 period weekly moving average. So she can certainly spike this number, the unfinished business, and try to make a run for the 100 period moving average that falls in line with the big time breakup candle low. But there's nothing wrong with XLF. There's nothing wrong with the overall structure of the market. She's kind of just chopping around a bit. Last but not least, one of my absolute favorites, we got SMH shaking my head, the semiconductors. By the way, this line didn't change it from the video yesterday. That number came in at 294.70, and she made a high of 294.71. We'll give that a funny how that works. I gave you the number, the schematic. She came up, tested that number, and then where'd she go right back down to? The 20 period moving average, normal garden variety behavior. We still have this gap down below. That gap comes in at 286.62, so she can take care of that, or she can go back for another test of the 294.70 number, start getting back above it, reestablishing all-time highs, and then continuing to push them up higher. If they do that, we'll be sure to have the numbers ready for Inside the Number and live room members. Last time we were at all-time highs, we nailed it, some of them to the freaking dot, and we'll try to do it again. She's up 1.57%, nice update for SMH. Gap down below, stone's throw away from all-time highs. We'll see what she wants to do. Have I told you guys how much I appreciate each and every one of you? Without you guys, these videos or MSF would not be possible. That is true and accurate information. Put it on a sticky note. We're going to wrap things up for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in for another episode of Common Sense Market Analysis. I'm Mini Frost. We'll be back ready to go in uniform for tomorrow's session and the video on Monday. Have a great weekend, folks, and take care now.